morning. Thought I would do a quick flick through of my journals, both my bullet journal and my art travel journal. Both my journals are Sheep Sparrow, and I've been doing bullet journaling for almost 18 months, I think, and art journaling I'm quite new, just literally a couple of months doing art journaling and travel journaling. So you can see that the Sheep Sparrow travel journal, I got it personalised, Nettys Journal. So I think I'll start off with my travel journal. So, so I have my lovely Mont Blanc pen here, which was a birthday present from my husband. In here I have three types of journal. I have my regular art journal, and then I have a travel journal, and then I have my pen pal journal. This is just a cover, and I have some journaling cards in here which I keep in there, and I'll use those when I'm traveling. This is the cover of my my regular journal. And here I started using it as a diary, but to be honest with you, I'm not really a diary person. So I was really struggling to find things to say. This particular day I was talking about my dad. It was his birthday and he passed away a few months ago, so it's still quite raw. I started diarising, but I'm not really a diary person. So then I started just creating week spreads and just talking about things that maybe were highlights for me that week, or just thoughts I wanted to capture down, maybe ideas, creative ideas, things like that. So it kind of became more of a weekly, just a few words you can get. You can see the words are getting less and less, but I just enjoy the whole art journaling. So I did just recently, you'll see in a minute, very little actual journaling in here. And then this weekend I did just a purely art journal, so it's not, it hasn't got any writing in there at all, and that's okay. You can do what you like with your own journal. Instead, I just use these stickers of the words and just put a few pointers in. And then this morning I started a spread. I've done some, I got my paint box out, which I haven't had out for a long time, and put some college paper down, and then put a kind of wash, a kind of vintage old looking wash over it. So I'll do something with that later. Then next in my thing, I've got a pen pal journal, which essentially I just keep a record of my pen pals. So I've got an index here of I've got 18 pen pals now, and I have also a few people that I swap postcards with. And then in here I just keep, I keep everyone's details, I won't show you that, but everyone's addresses, information about how to actually attach a second journal because I ran out of room, I just write down things I learn about those people. I keep a record of what I've sent, what I've received, etc. So that's quite a good thing. And then in here's my travel journals. As I said, I've only been doing this since May. So I went to Paris in May, so I've got a couple of spreads for Paris in here. Then me and my husband went to Dallas, and we went to College Station as well in Texas to see my niece and nephew graduate. So I did a couple of spreads for that, back into Dallas. And then we went to Costa Rica for a week, so I did a couple of spreads for that as well. So that's all about Costa Rica. That I did actually keep a bit of a diary. And then June I went to Germany, partly business, and I had a weekend with my friends, so I did a couple of spreads for that as well. And then my next travel journal will be in the UK. I have a little pocket in here which I haven't got anything in at the moment, but when I'm traveling, it's a zip pocket. I got this from Sheep Sparrow as well when I actually ordered the journal. So that closed, and I could put stuff in there. And then this is the other half of the back cover, which I've done a little bit of journaling on. So that's my art and travel journal. This was a little charm that I made as well for my travel journal. And this is my bullet journal. So this again is a Sheep Sparrow. This is an Odyssey. The travel journal was I call her Mr. Darcy. And this is slightly different. It's got stitching around the side and pockets inside. I keep stickers and stencils in there. So this is my bullet journal. It's an LT 1917. I've just actually migrated. I did have a Nuna notebook. This is quite a thick book, as you can see, and I didn't finish it. I did quite like the book, but you can see it has a very small dotted matrix, which I did think I would really like. Actually, it's because it's so small, it's a little bit difficult, but that's my that's the one I just migrated from. So there's quite a few collections that I need to migrate. So when I decided to start a new journal, I decided to split my pages up into a main journal and a few inserts. So I'm changing the way I do things a little bit. So in my bullet journal now, I just use this for planning month by month. So I have a future log and I have my monthly pages, my monthly spread there with my to-dos, and then I have some trackers, and then I have some collections which are like a monthly collection, which lives for a month and then it's done, and then I have my weekly spread and my dailies like that. So in this are collections that are just for basically months or maybe a couple of months, so they don't have a very long shelf life, so to speak. Here's my snail mail tracker. So you saw my details I keep in a separate book, but in here this is kind of a schedule, so I know when I need to send letters and what I'm waiting to receive. So that's my bullet journal. I do a monthly reflection at the end of each month, which I just jot down things I'm grateful for, what made me happy, what I accomplished, what did well, what I could do better. I make a note of some things like my Instagram followers, my average steps, something like that. And I always try and include a picture that kind of a highlight of the month for me. I did start doing themes for my month, but I've kind of gone off that really. So I just do what I feel like each day. I'm starting to change up my dailies a little bit. I'm trying to start using my dailies to practice my handwriting, practice my calligraphy. And then I just started this week, and I've just restarted my Miracle Morning. In fact, it was someone on the group that reminded me about Miracle Morning. I've done it a few times in the past and I haven't really stuck with it, so I'm going to give it a go again. I've set out my version of the Miracle Morning, so hopefully we'll stick to it this time. So also in here, I've got three other inserts. One is just a notebook. This is a new one as I've migrated, so this is nothing in there at the moment. Then I have two other inserts. So one is what I call permanent collections. So these are collections that I always want to keep and refer back to. So things like I've got image sizes for my online marketing. I've got online subscriptions that I need to be reminded of. I have my branding references, my eye prescription. So sort of long-term things, my workout, my housework routine, and some sort of contact details in there. And then the other one is more longer term planning and scheduling, so kind of annual or quarterly type planning. So here I've got my finances for the next sort of 6 months, my savings, my life insurance, my mortgages, my loans, tracks, things like that. So there are really long-term trackers and planners, which I keep in here. So which means that when I finish my bullet journal, I don't have to rewrite up all my collections again, which I have been doing. I have been having to transfer and migrate all my collections over each time I start a new bullet journal. So this way, hopefully my inserts will remain with me for as long as I need them. So here I can't obviously show my financial ones, but I can show you a couple of the other ones that I have in here, which is I've got a webinar schedule in my business, my work. I do a monthly webinar, so this is my schedule for that. I keep this is my personal Instagram, keeping a track of followers and things like that. A weight tracker, which looks very empty. I have a bulletin. I do a bulletin every month, and I do I've got an intranet, all work related. So these are trackers and analytics for those. So these, as you can see, is sort of longer term. I've got some subscriptions I want to track through our marketing automation system. So there's quite a lot of long-term trackers. And then the final thing is a little tiny little book hidden away in the pocket here, which again I won't show you, but in here are my passwords. I'm notoriously bad for passwords. I do actually have a more secure version on my phone, but I do find this really handy, and it's really just work related ones in here, nothing financial or anything like that. But I just keep that tucked in the back pocket, nicely hidden there. In my bullet journal I tend to use the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, which I really love. I really like the S one, which is a super fine nib, and I tend to like that's really nice and smooth for writing, and I use my Mont Blanc in my travel journal. So those are my 2 journals. Thanks very much.